Hi, everybody. Um, I'm gonna do I'm still working on my Prince Andrew stuff and the deep state, the kind of the white replacement. Tucker Carlson is particularly the one who complains about that, but white replacement and black supremacy. I mean, that gets into minoritism as well, but feminism as well, because see, it's intersectional because you have black men and black women, and ooh, the relationship as I was saying in my last in my video, the last one. Yeah, I think the only people who like me these days are the black men, the poor black men. Um, from the inner cities, particularly the ones with criminal records. It's like, yeah, like I'm the only one who wants to clean up the courts. I mean, this is where I'm like at Candace, because she was saying I saw like 5 out of 9 of the men, I guess, in her extended family have criminal records. And she wants to get away with from that, and I do understand that she wants, she doesn't want that kind of community, but leaving it is not the solution. Let's stop this. And and it gets to the same thing. The I keep on quoting from White Trash, the book White Trash from Nancy Eisenberg, 400 years of untold history of America. And she points out that Americans have interpreted wealth to mean the accumulation of excuse me, class to mean the accumulation of wealth and privilege. But as I keep on pointing out, class is the way that you treat people. And this, accumulation of wealth and privilege is exactly the opposite to what the founding fathers and the Puritans who came and settled the United States, I mean the colonies first, were about. It is not the American dream. The American dream was, the Puritans, the Quakers, religious freedom, freedom of speech, freedom of thought. All of these ideas, came from this. I mean, the Puritans were, and nothing was perfect. And I mean, we can definitely go back and go, my favorite is the Salem witch trials. I'm like, yeah, we're reliving that. I think it was the women, the witches, uh, wagging their tongues. That's the problem. So anyway, what I want to go into, because with Trump, he really has completely flipped. And, I mean, the story of the politician who makes promises that he doesn't keep once in office is like so repeated. It's no longer even funny. Um, so, that's nothing new, but it is there has been something that's been different, I would say, and strange about the whole thing. And to do, you know, I'd like to do a deep dive, and but I don't really have the time. And maybe with Ian Carroll's new technology, his new software, if you put all of those videos in and the documents in, you could trace it. But there did seem over the summer of 2025, and I would say here this is September 3rd. This was the weekend of August 30, 31st, and then Monday would have been 1st, Tuesday 2nd. So this is Megyn Kelly on the 3rd, and I did this and I didn't have my audio right. So let's just make sure I got everything there. Okay. Okay. And
It's so
there. Make sure that's in. Okay.
frustrating. And you catch them in these catch-22s because on the one hand, they hate the tariffs.
No. This is earlier.
Gotcha. Okay, so Trump's alive, thank God. Alive and well, happy to report. We need to report it because for some reason, the loons on the left spent the entire weekend speculating that he might be dead. Based on what? Some errant report that he had suffered a heart attack or something? No, based on the fact that they hadn't actually seen him on camera for 3 days. 3 days. He had a presser. He was...
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, and the background today, Bill Maher, this is in your honor. The orangutan.
Out in the news. And then for 3 days, he wasn't actually on camera holding a press event. And they went into meltdown, speculating that he might be dead. It led to people like George Conway of the Lincoln Project, formerly married to Kellyanne Conway, saying things like, shh, don't jinx it. Like, if you talk about it, he might wind up alive. Like, the fervor for this man's death was in full flower over the weekend. There's one great example we have here, which is Jen Psaki. Now, she, of course, I'm sure, hoped Trump was dead. And she was one of the chief cover-uppers for Joe Biden.
I mean, this is really sad. We're like hoping our president is dead. You know, like, this is not good, people.
Mental infirmity. She worked for Joe Biden for the first half of his presidency and said nothing about the fact that the auto pen was really president. And now she wants to be the authority on Trump's possible health problems, his status as an alive or a dead president, something she really should keep quiet about, given that she covered for Joe Biden. And here's what she said after Trump, miraculously resurfaced, playing golf, very much alive. Here she is in SOT 26.
We went from Trump saying he hadn't heard about the rumors of his death to Trump saying he did hear about them from reports. You really can't make this stuff up sometimes. And look, we may never know why Donald Trump suddenly spent a week hiding entirely from the American public. But you don't actually need baseless online conspiracies to explain why he might not want to show his face in public right now. A newly released Wall Street Journal poll finds that the percentage of Americans who think they have a good chance of improving their standard of living has fallen to just 25%.
Okay. Batya, the man had a presser last Tuesday. He was seen on Sunday golfing. She's very, very upset that she had to go, I guess, Wednesday through Saturday. So, 4 days. Not seeing. We may never know. We may never know why he spent a week hiding. The nerve.
It's so insane because think of what they're telling on themselves. That Trump is so active, so efficient, so accomplished, so constantly working for the American people in the public eye, that if you go for 12 hours without seeing him, he might be dead, right? Like, just think about...
I don't agree that being on social media 24/7 is constantly working for the American people, but let's continue.
What that means for what they are actually admitting. They're just telling on themselves. Of course, the real reason they wish he was dead is because they cannot compete against him. And the reason they can't compete against him is that despite the fact that the left portrays Donald Trump as some sort of 21st century George Wallace, what he actually is a 21st century FDR. He stole all of the best parts of their agenda. He's anti-war, he's pro-worker, and he's socially moderate. This is the nature of the American...
Anti-war, pro-worker, and moderate. I mean,
American people. And they know that they have nothing to offer the American people to convince them to come back to the Democratic Party. And so they are left to simply wish that he dies. I mean, this is such a capitulation, Megyn. This is what defeat looks like.
Yes, it's so true. That's their only way out, is to hope for an early demise, which is just so vile.
Disgusting.
You've got Tim Walz. Okay, Jen Psaki, she's a talking head, whatever. But Tim Walz was recently the vice presidential candidate on the Democratic ticket. Maybe you would expect a little better, a little higher in terms of the rhetoric. You would be disappointed. Here is SOT 27.
You get up in the morning and you doom scroll through things. And although I will say this, the last few days you woke up thinking there might be news. Just saying. There will be news sometime. Just so you know, there will be news.
Look at him. So chipper. Don't worry, there will be news. In other words, Trump will die. Something to look forward to. The absolute nerve, especially with a president who was subjected to at least 2 assassination attempts and just dodged death in recent history, to the great relief of every sane person in the nation. Now to be openly, talking about what a delicious day it's going to be, it's totally irresponsible.
I mean, it's godless is what it is. It is truly, truly godless. And I remember the first time somebody, an overcredentialed leftist elite, said to me, no, I wish that the shooter had succeeded. Mm-hmm. And I was just in disbelief. What has Donald Trump ever done to you? I mean, talk about the American dream. Jen Psaki says Americans don't believe they have access to the American dream. That's thanks to Democrat policy.
Amen.
Like NAFTA, like shipping 5 million really good middle-class jobs overseas to build up China's middle class for some reason. Defunding vocational training. Thank you, President Obama. Cutting off another avenue that working class Americans had to the American dream. Since the 70s, Democrats built an economy that was an upward funnel of wealth from the pockets of working class Americans into the top 10%, the over-credentialed leftist progressive college elites. It was wage theft of their working class neighbors. And then now these same rich people who got rich off of the mass immigration that resulted in the downward mobility of working class Americans sit there saying, oh, wow, I wonder why working class people don't think they have access to the American dream. Do you think it's because you welcomed in millions and millions of illegal immigrants to replace them in the job market and drive down the wages and live off of the government and, take their welfare? Like, it's so exactly obvious. Right. It's so obvious.
Yeah. Okay. So she's right. Now, the thing is it's not just the legal immigrants. It's also the legal immigrants. Now, one of that is, this goes back to affirmative action and Astrid and Ingrid Betancourt, the Betancourt family. This is Ingrid Betancourt. She was a Colombian presidential candidate, 2002, who was kidnapped and then held for 7 or 8 years. After that, I knew her sister. Her sister was the mistress of the French ambassador to Colombia at the time, Daniel Parfait. He's in Mexico now. Anyway, and they're all in their ivory towers. So, yeah, that's, their father, he was involved with affirmative action. And the article that I do, it's posted on LinkedIn, looks at the educated, not the illegal ones, but the student populations that have come in. And one of the things is 75% of the PhDs, of the foreigners who get PhDs stay in the country. So you've had a brain drain. So it hasn't been a great success story of the poor, the low wage illegal immigrants, and the legal immigrants. This has not been successful any way, shape, or form. In fact, part of that elite that she's talking about of the lower class, the minorities that have cashed in are, worse than the white privilege that they replaced and that they so vocally criticize. So, okay. Now this, right. So here I didn't really pay much attention to Trump disappearing. I mean, what I thought was so amusing was that here he was so much on social media campaigns, and he had such his little ladies in waiting and followers all over the place that they would be in an uproar that their little Miss Tuffet sitting on her tuffet, little Miss Muffet sitting on her tuffet, was not tweeting. So anyway, I was listening to, he reappears, and then I'm listening to him, and I was like, God, I was half asleep. I'm listening to the news, but I was like, my goodness, his voice sounds strange. And I have a pretty good ear for voices. I'm not good with names, but at remembering names, but voices, yes. So anyway, this is the video I did. Sorry about
last night.
Sorry about the sound. I'm doing this at where I work, and it's kind of like an echo or something. Yeah, it's terrible. But here,
I was watching Trump going off on something, but he repeats himself and he contradicts himself. And I mean, it's like, let's listen to a little kid. But I'm like, wait a second, his voice, it was really strange. I don't know, a good ear for voices, but I was just like, this is really strange. And I was like, oh my God, it was feel like a change for a clone these days that he disappeared and everybody was saying he was dead. I mean, this is the typical thing is jumping to conclusions. So okay, I'll jump into a conclusion here. But so I'm like, oh my God, did they replace him with a clone? Because I had been watching this, her name's Elizabeth April. She does remote viewing, she's a psychic, and all of these things, unexplicable things. And she fascinating. I'll put a link on there about her remote viewing and what of aliens and UFOs and 51 Area 51 and like really you go whoa.
okay. So yeah, the sound's pretty bad. So see, but this is I felt like I was like, this is weird. This is weird. This is weird. And I'm gonna document it, and I'm just gonna, as I say, I'm at where I work. I have the fake. This is a Zoom call. When you have the fake background, you can tell it's been made on Zoom. But yeah, I work around a very non-existent budget. So that's September 4th. Only 4 views. Now Megyn Kelly, is 6 months ago. She was on the 3rd, September 3rd. That's 200,000 views. Whatever. But as I say, the sound's not very good, but I just kind of felt propelled to, document and say, just like I'm doing, like building my case against all of the employers in DC. I'm like, okay, my report today, my complaint report for today is da 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 da. Some of it's posted on my YouTube videos, not all of it. Oh, it was horrible during the lockdown. I call it the one flew over the cuckoo's nest house. And the only way I was, not accosted and harassed when I'd go in, the only place I'd go into common area was in the kitchen when I was cooking for something for myself. The rest of the time I'd stay in my room or I'd go out for my walks. But I had to put my, the computer and video record it, and so he wouldn't harass me. Otherwise they'd come in and insult me and scream at me, and I'm like, see, it's on YouTube. It's on YouTube. This is being posted on the internet. Everything you're doing here. That was the only way I could get them to leave me alone. I mean, all I wanted to do was go in and cook. I mean, people just did. I mean, I represent white people, white privilege, and everybody in this town just despises me. I mean, I've been despised before for many reasons, particularly when I lived abroad. But these people are really. So this I wanted to, because the other possibility, I mean, of course, the clone, because the thing is with clones, my question there, like, we know there's the technology to clone the animals. They did that with a sheep, I think it was. But okay, you know, anybody believes that, oh yeah, they're not supposed to be doing it on humans and they're not supposed to be doing it anymore. And anybody who believes that that's being abided by, needs a reality check. So I'm sure they've done all sorts of stuff. However, even if the technology to clone a human is there, you're still dealing with an embryo and a baby and a human being that grows up and has a normal lifespan of a human being. You're not like making a body double of a full adult in like 1 month. I mean, at least nobody's shown me any kind of technology where that's possible. So that's the big thing that I'm like, well, wait a second, with your clones, what, did you clone these people when they were babies? How did you know that they were going to be president or going to have this position or that position, or when they were babies? That's a stretch. That's a real stretch. So there's always the issue that I have it. Anybody says, oh, they're cloned. I'm like, okay, well, you have to first explain that part of it in order for me to believe that this adult person has been cloned. Whether, a normal person, they don't clone them, a politician or a celebrity. So let's look at the Jim Carrey stuff.
I've done this a few times now, and it's using a decoy.
I'm sorry, a decoy?
But right now I want to show you this. Jim Carrey received an award in France. It's like their equivalent of their Oscar. And so I just want to show you, this is supposed to be him after he received his award. Now you tell me if this guy behaves, acts, talks, tells jokes, or even looks like Jim Carrey. You tell me.
Oh, it's a wonderful feeling. I really took on a pretty big challenge trying to do my speech in French. So, I wrote it and I researched it and I practiced it like crazy. But, then I watched everybody like talking 1,000 miles an hour up there, receiving their awards. And I was like, I'm dead.
Okay, Jim Carrey never does that. He never tells a lame joke and then laughs at his own joke. He never does that. That's not how he
do weirder shit than that.
That's not how he acts that's not how he acts at award ceremonies. He mocks them. In fact, here I'll show you. Here's him mocking the awards at the Golden Globe. Watch this.
Our solar system. I am 2-time Golden Globe winner, Jim Carrey. When I go to sleep at night, I'm not just a guy going to sleep. I'm 2-time Golden Globe winner, Jim Carrey, going to get some well-needed shut-eye. And when I dream, I don't just dream any old dream. No, sir. I dream about being 3-time Golden Globe winning actor Jim Carrey, because then I would be enough. It would finally be true. And I could stop this terrible search for what I know ultimately won't fulfill me. But these are important, these awards. I don't want you to think that just because if you blew up our solar system alone, you wouldn't be able to find us or any of human history with the naked eye. But from our perspective, this is huge.
It's huge. So that's how he was mocking the importance of.
But this is French award, Jimmy.
But so now here he is at another award show, even more recent.
A lot of fashion weeks. This is the first time I've run into Jim Carrey. Wait, tell me, is it true you're wandering the streets? You need a date to the party? What's up?
No. I'm doing just fine. I just, there's no meaning to any of this. So I wanted to find the most meaningless thing that I could come to and join, and here I am.
They're
I
celebrating.
mean, you got to admit it's completely meaningless.
Well, they say they're celebrating icons inside.
Celebrating
Do you believe in
icons, boy, that is just the absolute lowest aiming, possibility that we could come up with. It's like icons. What do you believe in icons? I don't believe in person.
Oh God, I have to admit, I have to say, I'm on with Jim Carrey on this one. I have never understood, never, how or why all of these people love these red carpet events and the cameras and the lights and the pomp and the circumstances. I know, okay, I'm weird, whatever, but what a waste of time and money.
Personalities. I don't believe that you.
So that's how he feels about icons and award. So for them to give him an award in France, so this is like
they gave him a new forehead.
It's like a lifetime. They not only gave him this new award, they gave him a new forehead, they gave him new eyes, they gave him a new
Star Trek alien.
They gave him a new personality because that's not how he acts. That's how he acts. He doesn't act like he acted in this. That is not how he acts. In fact, this is what Jim Carrey looks like. This is what he looked like at that award. People are saying, well, he had face work. He had eye work. Well, when you get eye work,
so we'll skip over that because
light, you're in. So do you really think Jim Carrey is, so if that's Jim Carrey,
this is something.
What's that?
What company? So Jim Carrey didn't want to go to France for his award.
So he did not want to.
Just look at the people's eyes, what color their eyes are. Now, of course, you can wear contacts, but when you have brown eyes and you put contacts in, it's pretty hard. They look weird.
They go.
And they had this guy from somewhere.
And so what makes me think that, first of all, here's another. So these aren't his teeth.
Oh my God.
So, this is what he looked like a year ago on his birthday. That's what he looked like a year ago on his birthday. Okay.
Wait.
So just notice that Jim Carrey is lefty, and he always does lefty.
Sign his autograph? There are 3 details that suggest he's not the real Jim Carrey. First, he used his right hand to sign autographs for fans, but it's well known that the real Jim Carrey is left-handed, and he himself has confirmed this in interviews. Whether writing or casually holding things in public, Jim Carrey always uses his left hand, as it's an ingrained habit. The impersonator might have learned the appearance, but overlooked this small detail. Secondly, his appearance is drastically different from Jim Carrey's. The real Jim Carrey has his signature neat, short...
So I want to show you this. Here he is on David Letterman a few years ago. Hustle Bitch got this.
This was.
What is this?
Oh no! Come on.
Impersonator might have learned the appearance, but overlooked this small detail. Secondly, his appearance is drastically different from Jim Carrey's. The real Jim Carrey has his signature neat, short hair with a relaxed facial structure that exudes energy, even without exaggerated expression.
I don't care about that. But here he is. What is this? Oh, wait, I want to show you this. So I want to show you this. Here he is on David Letterman a few years ago. Hustle Bitch got this.
Now, we were talking about Jim's problem with the as he calls them, the stockerazzi.
This is the
because
phrase that I coined.
They stock you. He coined that. He came up with that.
Yeah.
So how do you handle it? What is the solution? Because a lot of folks would be interested in this. What do you do?
I've done this a few times now, and it's using a decoy.
I'm sorry,
using a decoy. It sounds so ridiculous, but it works like
a double.
It's fantastic.
Like a Jim Carrey double.
Jim Carrey double.
Oh, yeah, that's amazing.
So what I do is I send him off in one direction, sucks all the press in that direction, and I can just have my day. And
whatever you want to do.
Wherever I want, totally unmolested. It's fantastic.
Right.
And,
well, they say the best ideas are the simplest ones, and this really couldn't be more simple.
It really is amazing.
I'm sure it works.
Really works.
So there he is admitting that he's used a body double in the past. So I think it's almost 100% certainty that he's punking the people in France giving him this award because that is not Jim Carrey.
Because the detail of the eye color is, I didn't see it until just now, but that almost sounds like you get one where I leave a clue that if they could spot it if they want, like that seems like
Jim Carrey shows up at Fashion Week on a red carpet mocking how vacuous it is and how meaningless it is and how pointless it is. And then he would go use colored contact. So that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. Although it could be one of these. Have you ever seen this? So they have these masks out there. The CIA has had them for decades. Since at least the early 90s, somebody in George Bush the first, his cabinet, a woman wore a mask and she went into a meeting and he didn't know the difference. So these are the kind of masks they can do. And they say that Joe Biden there's definitely more than, you can turn it up now. There's definitely more than one Joe Biden. We pointed that out.
Jimmy, what'd you just say? I couldn't hear none of it because that TikTok music was so fucking loud. But what were you just saying about that mask?
Oh, no, I'm saying that the CIA has had these masks for decades. And that somebody inside George Bush, the first cabinet, wore a mask to a meeting and he couldn't tell the difference. So the CIA's been doing this. And so Joe Biden, there's definitely been two Joe Bidens. And here's someone, watch this. Tell me if this isn't a guy wearing one of those CIA masks.
North Carolina. And he was a very conservative guy who was.
So he goes to scratch his neck.
Oh my gosh, that's a mask.
And there it is.
Holy cow.
You tell me that's not a mask.
No, he just says real.
Do you see this, Kurt?
And he was a very conservative guy who was very, very.
Oh my gosh, that's a mask.
So he's itching himself right where the mask go, and he's like, I got an itch under this mask, and he's screwed up. So he's dead. The guy's dead, probably. He's been dead for some time. Is that what I'm getting from this? And he's an auto pen, but Trump's not going to do any. So some people are saying that because he did this on Jimmy Kimmel. So now he kept doing this, and he says it's a symbol of the Illuminati. And I've been told, I can't confirm this, but there's serious rumors out there, and I've been told that they dubbed in audience laughter after they shot this because it was so awkward. So let's watch it, and just keep in mind that it's a good possibility that the laughter you're going to hear now has been dubbed in.
Like you don't know.
Now, Jimmy Kimmel, it's really strange because the kid who was asking, at least this is my understanding, the kid who was asking the question when Charlie Kirk was assassinated was like his nephew or something related to Jimmy Kimmel. And then Kimmel got fired. Strange. But then everybody knows everybody. So, of course, this is the thing. People don't realize when you get into the upper crust, everybody knows everybody. So it's like, well, they're related. Well, but that might be just a coincidence.
Know what it is. You don't know what that is.
I have no idea.
You don't know. Jimmy Fallon doesn't know. David Letterman doesn't know.
We don't know.
All the comics and show business don't know what this is. Right? Yeah.
What is it?
Come on, Jimmy. Seriously, the time is up. People are hip to this kind of stuff. I'm here tonight to blow the lid off it, to be the whistleblower. I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies. It is the secret symbol of the Illuminati, and you're a part of it, and it is the all-mocking tongue. It's the symbol of the all-mocking tongue. And I'm sick of it. I want everybody to be in on the joke, man. You know what I mean? For years now, talk show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh and stuff like that, make you happy and docile so you don't know what's really going on. You know, and they get out there in the woods in a circle naked and they decide these things and, you know, and look at him trying to cover it up. It's hilarious.
Now, it's also very possible that he was just doing a joke, that he was just trying to mock people who think there's some big conspiracy in Hollywood. I don't know. I'm not saying I don't know if that laughter is real. I don't know if it's there. I know he did this. Why would he do that? Where's Kurt? What happened? We lose him?
That's out.
Okay, I guess we lost Kurt.
Okay, so let's go to the next. This is Elizabeth April on clones.
Because it's going to lead us into questioning the nature of our a lot of people, a lot of celebrities, a lot of politicians, a lot of world leaders, if we were to step into and activate our high, I mean, we become one of the most powerful hybrid beings that this galaxy and this universe have ever seen.
All right, Elizabeth April, welcome back to the show. It's nice to speak with you again.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm happy to be back.
So I was looking through the comments of our first podcast, and not only was it one of our most highly viewed episodes of last year, but it was incredibly positive in the comments. Like you have a huge number of people who are behind you and just resonating with the things that you're saying. So I thought that today we could just get deeper into some of the themes that we kind of introduced the first time around. A lot of people were requesting a part 2, so I feel like they want to get deeper. So like that's what we'll try to do. And one of the things that would be probably obvious to start with is your predictions for 2026. It's now early in the year. What do you think is going to happen? We were just saying before the call started that the world is kind of in chaos. So take us through a little bit where we're at and what we're looking at for this year.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, kind of everything that we have been seeing is just going to continue to escalate. Something that I saw in more of a 5-year prediction is that 2026, 2027, and 2028 are really like a dismantling of our old system. So we're going to really see that in 2026 is continued political unrest. And there was actually a trend that I saw. We're kind of going to be trending away from globalization and trending into sort of, how do I call it? Like, an individual, sort of like a country sovereignty. So it's like, what can we do to produce the necessary resources that we need from inside our own country rather than have to rely on others? So we're going to start to really see that, the dismantling of globalization. And then recently we have Trump and Venezuela and like all of that happening, which is continuing this sort of dismantling of global relations, which was all built on, a house of cards, a structure that never really served the people to begin with. So we're going to continue to see that. I saw a lot of high profile politicians and CEOs and even really public facing celebrity figures, leaving the spotlight as well. So whether that means CEOs are just sort of leaving their companies, or, sudden passings or suspicious deaths are things that we're going to see as well with these high profile individuals. There's going to be a variety of reasons for that. But the number one reason that I saw in my remote viewing was there's just a change of power that's taking place right now. And we're going to continue to see that over the next couple of years as well. What else did I see? Okay, so the other really big thing that came up as well is this almost like a doomsday scenario. Okay, now hear me out, okay, because I didn't expect this, but this is what I saw, so take it or leave it. I saw this essentially like the most likely cataclysmic event or doomsday event that we could potentially experience on planet Earth would be sort of a nuclear World War III type of scenario. And I go into this, I deep dive into this in my Rapture video. So I have a video out there. It's on YouTube currently. It's called The Rapture is Happening, but Not As You Think. And it's actually all about quantum mechanics and timeline shifts and the third dimension, the fifth dimension, and just how all of that works. So I highly recommend that deep dive for anyone who
It's fascinating.
interested in the timeline shifting, but also people who have this sort of impending feeling like something really bad is about to happen. And so what we're going to see is we're going to see a lot of Christians, a lot of sort of God-fearing religious people, a lot of spiritual people or psychics, and also like a lot of just average everyday people having dreams and having this sort of impending feeling like the world is going to end. And we had that whole rapture scare back in September as well. And so what I saw is that there is a pretty good chance.
So I'm not sure what the rapture scare was about. But
Chance or probability that we will enter into a timeline where a World War III scenario takes place, but it's not actually technically the end of the world because within quantum mechanics, all timelines concurrently exist simultaneously, which means that that timeline will exist and then it won't exist anymore because it's sort of the implosion of that timeline on planet Earth. And then we sort of shift or hop over to alternate timelines. Once again, all explained in my Rapture video, but that really came up. And what's fascinating is, we're 12 days into January and there's already been, there was, I think from the Monroe Institute, someone just told me the other day that a group of remote viewers have all been seeing basically a mushroom cloud. They just keep seeing this mushroom cloud. And even though they're trying to remote view crypto markets, they're seeing this mushroom cloud take place. So it is sort of validating what I've been seeing as well as a remote viewer. So that's just fascinating. Like I said, death doesn't really exist, especially when all timelines are simultaneously existing. And then when we talk about economics as well, a couple of things, we are going to see a huge downturn in the stock market. I saw that for 2025 as well. And that's sort of what we saw. And then an uptick in crypto, but that's not unusual because it is pretty volatile. And then also an uptick in precious metals, which same thing, not really unusual. That's what we're seeing right now. But that's sort of the economic trend that we're going to see in 2026. And then with AI, just a fascinating tidbit here. We're going to start seeing this disillusion of reality, right? So AI right now and deep fakes online, they're getting so real, so realistic. We're going to start to see videos. We're going to start to see politicians and celebrities on video saying and doing some pretty crazy things only to realize that it's got to be AI. It's got to be a deep fake. But we now, moving forward, can't tell the difference between what is an AI generated video and what is real reality. And so at first it might be sort of novelty, right? It might be interesting to be like, wow, that's so crazy. That's AI. And I can't believe I clicked on it. And it's so clickbaity. But eventually, and especially by the end of this year, it's going to lead us into this huge, profoundly activating question, a question that I've asked myself pretty much my whole life. And the question is, what is reality? I mean, what is the nature of reality, and what is real? If I can't tell the difference between a video in real life or my dream state and my waking life, then what is the nature of what is real? And so sort of my controversial view on AI is that it's actually going to lead us into an awakening of sorts, because it's going to lead us into questioning the nature of our reality. And that's going to lead us back to the only thing that is real, which is our five senses and eventually our sixth sense. And it's the authentic in-person experiences that we can have as a human being. So I think we're going to see a downtrend by the end of the year away from social media, away from the online, because we're going to get officially disenchanted by the videos and the clickbait, because we don't even know what's real anymore. So that's just a couple of things, but there's plenty more. Obviously, people can check out the whole video on my YouTube channel as well.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot there to dig into. It's so funny that well, it's not funny,
Yeah. So it is fascinating what, and the whole quantum physics stuff. I mean, that's, as I say, it is fascinating. It's all, of course, I mean, that you get into the theoretical. So anyway, what's going on with Trump? Put in the comments below. Like all of the podcasters say, okay, put in the comments below. Is Trump cloned? Is he has he been replaced by, a fake person? And if so, where's the real Trump? Did that happen with Charlie Kirk? I mean, we still don't know if Charlie Kirk is alive or dead. We still don't know if he's dead, what killed him, because we all agree on one thing. It wasn't the shotgun that they said killed him, because it would have shot his head off. As she said, we're going to move back to common sense and our five senses. Sometimes, like with magicians, don't always believe what you see, because it can be smokes and mirrors, but at the same time, believe your eyes. So it is a dilemma. Tell me what you think, and see you next time. Oh, and Bill Maher, how do you like the orangutans?